Good afternoon and welcome, fans, as we bring you high school baseball, a 5A powerhouse in the Crater Comets, paying a visit for a little non-league action against the Cascade Christian Challengers, one of the top teams in the Oregon 3A ranks. Should be a very interesting ball game involving a couple of local teams, and it'll be fun to watch these two programs square off and just, if nothing else, it's for these squads, it's a good opportunity to get some action in, get tuned up. We've got the playoffs right around the corner. Both teams are settled into their spots. The Comets out of the Midwestern League in the Oregon 5A, second place team behind North Eugene. A successful season for Crater. And then for the Challengers out of the Southern Oregon Conference, in the Oregon 3A, they are the league champions, winding up their league schedule just a game ahead of Lakeview Paisley. Jim McCoy here, along with Dan Hartwell on the camera, and also joining me is Mark McLemore. And, well, you know, it's when it's May, Mark, that somehow we're going to end up down the right field line at Lithia Driveway Park.
Just seems to happen that way every year, doesn't it? The Challengers playing good baseball and doing a great job of just getting themselves in position for the playoffs. And, you know, we've done playoff baseball before, so this is nothing new for us. This isn't exactly a playoff game, but it's sort of, I would consider, a playoff tune-up game, wouldn't you?
It certainly would. And, well, you know that coming into a game like this, two programs very similar, except for, actually, if you look in Crater's history, a number of state championships under the direction of Jay Campbell. The Comets, like the Challengers, even if it's a quote-unquote down year, they end up being very competitive. Well, this has been a good year for the Comets. I know as I look at the Crater lineup today, and as I've had the opportunity working for Table Rock Sports, I've had the opportunity to stream the Comets along the way, and there are a number of guys, just to name Snopel and Johnson and Sweet, among a few of them, that these are guys that have been in the program for a while. They've got ample varsity experience, and obviously they're in a season where that has served them well, and they'll be up against a Challenger team that can throw a lot of pitching at you. It seemed like it took a while for the hitting to warm up, but now the Challengers seem to have that going now, and having Grady Sickler return from injury and being able to both throw and hit will be important for the Challengers. And he had a home run yesterday in the Challengers' victory, a non-conference game against Umpqua Valley Christian.
Yeah, and you know, and Andy Alvarez pitched a heck of a game from what I heard yesterday as well. So that's kind of cool to see as he's sort of coming into his own here at the end of the season.
Absolutely. The Comets, meanwhile, well, they're coming in. They've won 2 in a row. They wrapped up their league schedule with victories over Ashland and Springfield. We're going to go ahead and take a timeout right now, and when we return, we'll get you ready for the start of today's matchup. It's the Comets and the Challengers on TableRockSports.net.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford has a large selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. We make it easy to drive home in the new vehicle of your dreams. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
Whether it's game day or a family get-together, Sherm's has the quality products and prices that will make you cheer. Sherm's Thunderbird Market, Medford's original discount grocery store.
You want diverse venues? We got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford has a large selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. We make it easy to drive home in the new vehicle of your dreams. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
At Rogue Credit Union, we don't answer to shareholders. Instead, we return earnings back to our members. We know that we're stronger when we work together, and that's why we're invested here, living, giving, and supporting local. We're your friends and your neighbors. We know the needs of our communities. Being a part of Rogue means that our focus is on our members, and when you prosper, we prosper. See the credit union difference and how being a part of something smaller can have a bigger impact.
Bill's Glass covers the full spectrum of your glass needs and dreams. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home and auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 50 years. Locally owned, family run, Bill's Glass in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass.
The Challenger defense has taken the field. Let's go ahead and take a look at the batting order for the visiting Crater Comets. They'll look like this. Leading off and playing third will be Mason Snopel. He'll be followed in the order by the shortstop, Morgan Austin, in the 3 spot. And DH, and we'll see him pitching, is Alex Johnson. In the cleanup spot is the first baseman, Zach Harrington. The number 5 hitter will be Carson Noche, and he'll be playing center field today. Number 6 hitter is Caleb Cornett at second base. The number 7 hitter, Andrew Sweet, playing left field. The catcher, the man behind the plate hitting 8th, is Orrin Ging. And the number 9 hitter playing right field is Michael Villarreal. For the Challengers, defensively, they will go as follows. Andy Alvarez will be playing first base. Over at second is Bryson Walker. At third base is Wyatt Hurley. And the shortstop is Grady Sickler. Left to right, the outfield is Mikey Covey, Nash Crisp, and Seth Scaglione. Behind the plate, it's Tucker Maben. And your starting pitcher is the big right-hander, Blake Patro. Sophomore right-hander. Part of a trio of aces for the Challengers. First pitch will go for a ball. It's 1-0 to the leadoff man. Snopel looks that in for a strike as the count evens up at 1-1.
Yeah, Patero this year, 1.65 ERA so far on the season.
Comes to the plate, and Snopel backs away from it. That'll take the count to 2-1.
And he's thrown more innings this year than anyone on the Challenger pitching staff. 52 innings this year for Blake.
Pitch misses its mark, and the count goes 3-1. The Challengers, their rotation includes Patro, and he's kind of at the head of the trio. Grady Sickler missed some time with injury. And now here's a bouncing ball that hit wide of third, and that will run the count full at 3-2. But you'll have Patro, Grady Sickler, who I think we'll see in relief today, and then also Andy Alvarez, the long, tall sophomore. So the Challengers blessed with depth at pitching. That pitch fouled off to the right as Snopel stays alive. Doing what good leadoff hitters do, trying to see as many pitches as possible while trying to getting on board in any fashion possible.
And he gets him on a curveball, looked like, off-speed pitch for a called strike 3.
So Blake Patro sets the first man down as Snopel makes his way back to the bench. And now we'll go to the number 2 man in the order. Here's shortstop Morgan Austin. Austin hits a ground ball to short. Sickler throws across the infield. The throw in time. And there's 2 gone.
A good start for the Challengers. Get a couple outs right off the bat after Blake doing a good job of not allowing that walk to happen. Sticking in there and getting some pitches fouled off and finally getting him to strike out on a curveball.
And here's a guy I can tell you from having watched him play over the years, you guys, you don't want to mess with. This guy's got some power, Alex Johnson. And he'll hit a ground ball there to snare it, but it's foul, is Andy Alvarez. Johnson, the big fella, playing, he's going to start on the hill today. So we got a couple of big guys going at it here to start the afternoon for the Comets and Challengers. Patro, the pitch low, and that'll even it up at 1-1. 2 gone in the inning, bases clear. Johnson showing patience at the plate. Patro fires, and the Comets have their first base runner of the day.
On a walk.
So 2 gone.
Well, 2 outs, and the power hitter up. You mentioned it. You want to be careful for sure.
Zach Harrington, junior first baseman, right-handed hitter. That ball beat into the dirt, wide of third. Patro getting ahead here, 0-1. Johnson taking a fairly conservative lead off of first base.
Good curveball that time from Patero. First called strike.
And he also throw from velocity. He's been clocked at over 87 miles an hour.
Well, so he's got a good off-speed pitch too going, and that one gets called for strike 3.
So Blake Patro gets his team off to a good start here. No runs, no hits, no Challenger errors, and a man left on. We'll go to the home half of the first inning. We'll be back with that on the other side of this break.
Diverse venues, we got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Okay, you know how people complain about how Dutch Bros workers are like too nice, too hyper, compliment you too much, whatever? Maybe you're not nice enough. Maybe you need to get a little Dutch Bros in you.
Discover the West Coast destination for those seeking more. More sunny days, more athletic facilities, more outdoor adventures, more to do during downtime. Medford is your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Here in the bottom of the first, the Challengers, we get our first look at their batting order. Bryson Walker will lead off and play second. He'll be followed in the order by the shortstop, Grady Sickler. Hitting third and playing first is Blake Patro. Well, actually, he's the pitcher. The first baseman hitting cleanup is Andy Alvarez. Behind the plate, Tucker Maben hitting fifth. Wyatt Hurley hitting sixth and playing third. We got Mikey Covey in left field hitting seventh. The number 8 man is the right fielder, Seth Scaglione, and they got Nash Crisp patrolling center field. So Bryson Walker will get ready to stand in against Alex Johnson. We'll give you their defensive alignment as we get the opportunity. Johnson, the big right-handed pitcher. And Walker will look at a ball. The infield for the Comets. We've got Harrington at first. Cornett at second. And here, ball hit to third and thrown over to first. And there is one down. So the rest of that infield for you. We've got Mason Snopel at third base. The shortstop is Morgan Austin. The outfield, Andrew Sweet. Carson Noche and Michael Villarreal in right field. Behind the plate, it's Warren Ging, and the pitcher is Alex Johnson. I can't say that over the years that I've had some opportunity to cover Comet baseball, I've had the opportunity to see him throw much, but right now he's doing battle. One of the more dangerous hitters in the Challenger lineup is Sickler. And Sickler hits that one out to left field, and that's going to drop in and bounce to the wall. Sickler runs around first, and he'll pull into second as the Challengers get their first base runner and their first hit of the day.
Boy, I tell you what, that thing carried, didn't it?
It sure did. Well,
you could tell the Comet outfielders thought they were going to get to it, and it ended up out of reach. So a nice double by Sickler.
Sickler hit a home run yesterday. And talking with Tim O'Sullivan, the public address announcer, he said Grady didn't even really get all of it. But still, it carried well. And Blake Patro, who has 6 dingers on the year, stands in. Today's starting pitcher, working against his opposite, Alex Johnson. The big right-hander comes to the plate. That pitch low.
Yeah, Sickler hitting .450 on the year, so one of the highest average on the team for the Challengers.
Patro hit his first career home run all the way back, and they lost to Junction City back in March. And looks like the sophomore has found something in terms of his power stroke. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, he's actually hitting a little bit better than Sickler, only one on the team that's hitting .460, so they're not very far apart.
We got a play, throw there. Nice heads-up play defensively by the Comets there. Fielding the bouncing ball for the Comets was Morgan Austin. And then he caught Sickler just a little too far off the bag. And Austin gets the lead runner. So Patro aboard on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, not good base running that time by Sickler. You cannot, and a ball hit to, the rule is if the ball's hit in front of you, you go back to the base. If the ball's hit behind you when you're leading off from second, you try to advance to third. But in that case, obviously the ball was hit in front of him. He should have turned immediately and gone back to the base. And unfortunately, he gets a little too far off, and a nice play by the Comet shortstop turns into the second out of the inning.
So here's Andy Alvarez here with 2 gone. Alvarez has been hot of late, gotten his batting average up over 300. Has a pair of home runs to his credit, including a game winner against Hidden Valley last month. Alvarez, lanky sophomore, saw him during basketball season. And he gets ahead 2-1. A courtesy runner for the Challengers, Kinston Gigg, into the ball game, freshman.
One of my basketball players.
I was going to say, but he saw some JV2 action, did he not? There, they tried to catch him napping.
Well, and he was leaning a little bit, but he did a good job of getting back.
Johnson with the courtesy call over to Harrington at first base. 2 out in the inning, 2-1 count. Ball popped up in the air, calling for it, and making the play is Caleb Cornett, and that will retire the side. For the Challengers, no runs on 1 hit, and a man left on. We'll go to the top of the second, scoreless ball game. We'll be back on the other side of this break.
It's game time. And there's only one thing that makes it all possible. Refs.
We're looking for people like you. Former athletes.
Parents.
Community members.
Anyone who can manage the game and stick with it.
But we need more heroes and stripes. People like you.
Join the team and keep sports alive.
Play ball.
Because no ref, no game.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships, rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
Carson Nosey will lead off. Center fielder, number 5 man in the order for Coach Jay Campbell. He'll be followed by Caleb Cornett and Andrew Sweet, the left fielder. Patro comes to the plate. That pitch low for a ball. It's 1-0. That pitch winds up bouncing to the screen. Nosey with the freshman with a 2-0 advantage. Patro coming in with a record of 7-2 on the season. He's also seen some time in relief and has a save to his credit. Here, the Crater center fielder works a 3-0 advantage. Nosey looking all the way on that one, and that's kind of a norm, really, Mark. You're not going to see probably too many hitters at this level green-lighted at 3-0.
No, you're not.
Here, bouncing ball hit to Alvarez. He'll step on the bag, and there's one gone.
Nice, easy ground ball to Alvarez at first, and he corrals it, makes the easy play for the first out.
Caleb Cornett will come up, junior second baseman, a left-handed hitter standing in against Blake Patro.
Looked like he went. Are they going to peel that? Then does not look like it, but looked like he kind of offered it that one to me.
Well, he definitely had those hips turned. Pitch down low. It'll go 2-0. Sophomore comes to the plate, bouncing ball down to second. Walker fields it, throws to first. I thought he got the foot down in time.
They didn't. He could have missed the base. It's really hard to tell from our angle.
Yeah.
But
and Coach Kevin
close.
Schaefer definitely going to have a word there about that.
I'm sure he's going to ask the home plate umpire to see if he saw if his foot was on the base or not.
So they'll talk things over a little bit. At least it looked like for me here. Yeah, his foot got pulled off the back, but I
looked
thought
like he stepped back and
on.
touched it. I agree with you on that one.
But as we've talked about before, my vote won't count. And they're going to rule him safe. So, I think we would call that an infield single.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably an error on the throw, really, Jim, to be honest.
Yeah.
Bryson Walker makes a better throw. He's out, right? So,
well, you have a point there.
So
we'll go E4 on that one.
E4, I think, is the appropriate response to that one.
Yes. So one gone. Cornett, the runner at first. And has the look of a guy can move, and he's going to go ahead and take off and run. Throw down to second base.
And he's out.
He's out.
Nice throw by Tucker Maben.
Crime does not pay for the Comets, but I tell you what, Cornett got a good jump on that, but a better throw by Tucker Maben, and there's two gone. Here's Andrew Sweet, the left fielder. And he's going to hit the ball in the air. Covey comes over, makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. So a couple of little adventures here in the inning, but the Challengers get through it. We'll go to the bottom of the second. It's a scoreless game. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This has been my profession for 30 plus years now. I really love my work. We try to source as many ingredients as we can as local as possible, like local fruits and vegetables. We have a menu like you would find in any nice restaurant. We don't make it until you order it, so everything will be coming out fresh. We do have wonderful desserts here as well. Every day you have 5 or 6 options as far as a fresh dessert go. People are bringing their friends and family and wanting to show off what we have here to offer.
Come take a tour of Twin Creeks and meet our award-winning...
Let's see, when am I leaving? I'm leaving on Saturday.
Okay.
And I'm getting back on Wednesday, but Wednesday late.
Okay.
And I thought it was, for some reason, I thought...
All right, we're back here at Lithia Driveway Field, number 9 in Medford, just south of town. We got a pretty good little breeze blowing here. It feels like it's coming in from left field. And a guy who hit his first career home run against Brookings Harbor, Tucker Maben, comes to the plate. Tucker, like many challengers, got off to a little bit of a slow start at the beginning of the year, but he's come on as of late. Pitch from Johnson. Called the ball, and it's 1-0.
Definitely a little breeze picking up.
Yes, it is.
As it does here in the afternoon, it seems like.
Tucker Maben swinging through that one.
Kind of a half swing, really.
Yeah. Kind of an excuse me swing. Pitch upstairs for a ball, and it'll go 2-1. Maben, sophomore.
Oh.
There's a strike call.
2-2.
Of course, Tucker, his dad, Nate Maben, the Cascade Christian Athletic Director, and also a longtime Medford Mustangs manager. Maben called strike 3. Johnson gets the K, and there's one gone. Here's Wyatt Hurley. He's got a couple home runs to his credit on the season. Hurley, another guy who got off to a slow start. Come back around, 218 batting average. Has a dozen hits on the season. Swing and a miss from Johnson. Johnson sighted in well here, and he gets ahead of the hitter.
Oh.
Johnson now with the 0-2 advantage, and one gone. He awaits the pitch. Johnson comes to the plate. That one low. Let's see if he could get Hurley fishing, but Wyatt says no fishing today. Johnson comes to the plate. Now we're even at 2-2. Hurley the hitter with Covey on deck. Bouncing ball hit down to short. Hurley motoring as fast as he can. Throw from the shortstop Austin in plenty of time, and there's two gone.
Yeah, nothing obviously other than other than Sickler's good swing there in the first inning, nothing really hit that hard so far. Johnson doing a good job of keeping those challenger hitters off balance.
Covey takes a cut at the first one, fouls it back to the screen. Covey, limited varsity time and had some injury stuff he was dealing with there. Of course, we remember Mikey just from his exploits as a football player.
And as a basketball player.
That's true.
3-sport athlete for the Challengers.
Johnson.
Both these pitchers work fast. I always like to see that. When you're a fielder, you love to have a pitcher that works quickly.
And there Covey swings and misses. We've got a 2-2 count.
And Johnson doesn't even, he goes from the stretch even when he doesn't have guys on base.
And there's the strikeout, and that will retire the side. 3 up, 3 down. Johnson with a strong inning. We'll go to the top of the third with the Comets looking to break the scoreless tie. We'll be back for you just after these messages.
For over 50 years, each day has started with a smile, a helping hand, and a promise to be there when you need us most. Delivering on that promise are our hard-working, dedicated employees. At Sherms, we're proud to be an essential part of our community and look forward to keeping our selection, quality, and value where our customers deserve for many years to come. Sherms Food for Less and Thunderbird Market.
It takes meticulous planning, continuous monitoring, and forward thinking to deliver the perfect 3-egg omelet.
So we've got Warren Ging, Michael Villarreal, and Mason Snopel due up here in the third.
8, 9, and 1 for the Comets. Blake starts out with a strike.
And you always like that. You mentioned the guys pitching out of the stretch with nobody on. Let me offer the coach's perspective on making that move.
Well, you can watch right here with Blake. He's from the windup. You can see he steps back off the rubber or to the side of the rubber for him, and then turns and throws. You know, when you have a runner on, your back's to first base as a right-handed pitcher because you don't want them to steal second, and you're pitching from what we call the stretch instead of the windup. So it's a little different as a pitcher. But if you notice Johnson, for Crater, he just pitches from the stretch all the time. He doesn't switch between the windup and the stretch depending on if there's a runner on base or not. Quick strikeout there for Blake Patereau.
Well, it looks like we've got the makings of a pitcher's duel, Mark.
Well, so far it's certainly been that way, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I got to imagine if you're pitching out a stretch with the bases open, you're talking about economy of movement.
A lot of guys, you know, there's less things to correct if you're a pitcher when you're pitching out of the stretch. Mm-hmm. Your body's moving less. It's just basically you're putting your weight on your back foot, driving that front foot forward, and finishing. So there's less movement in general when you're doing that. So there's a base hit.
That one hit to right center field via rail. Then we'll end up motoring around first, sizes up the situation, and makes his way back to the bag.
Nice solid swing that time.
Comets with their, I believe, their first base hit of the day.
Yeah, first base hit of the day.
So we go to the top of the order, and that'll bring up Mason Snopel. One out in the inning, yes. Runner on first.
Snopel really did a good job of working the count in the first inning, if you remember. Ended up striking out on a curveball. But did a good job of seeing 7 or 8 pitches, and you'd love to see that as a batter.
Patro, a couple of throws back over to first.
And now you can see Patro is in the stretch. He's got his foot on the rubber.
You can tell he's taking a fairly aggressive lead off the bag.
Yeah, a little cat and mouse going on over here at first base.
Patro misses on the pitch, and Snowball gets ahead 1-0. Throw to first. That one from Patro to Alvarez on the move ends up bouncing to the first baseman.
Yeah, nice job by Alvarez to keep that one from coming to the fence. 2 balls now on the batter, Snowball. And if you're Patro, you got to work on you got an out already. You need to work on the batter here. You can't walk somebody here in this situation. There's a strike.
And that'll bring the count to 2-1. Villarreal, the runner at first. Comet right fielder. Has the look of a man with speed. Snopel steps out of the box. He's settled back in. Fouls it back.
2-2.
So we got a level count. Top of the third. Scoreless ball game. Runner at first. Patro looks at the runner. Takes another look at the runner. Here's the pitch.
Ooh, where was that one? Yeah. Called a ball, but looked like a pretty darn good pitch. Full count now.
Yeah, looked real close. So now we got a full count with...
Would expect the runner to be moving here, I would think. Yep, there he goes.
Here's the pitch.
Base hit up the middle.
And there, Snopel gets aboard, turns to first, and the runner Villarreal to third. Like you say, he was out of the chute quickly. And
well, gets to third easily because he's running on the pitch. So a couple of hits in a row here for the Comets, and they're in business. 1 out and runners on the corners.
So here's Morgan Austin. Austin with an RBI opportunity. With 1 out. Patro starts out the hitter with a strike.
And that's what you got to do if you're Patro. You gotta stay ahead in the count and make the hitter hit the pitch that you want him to hit. Another good curveball there. Looked like it was called a ball. 1-1.
So that'll level things up. You got Austin at first. Villarreal you got Snopel at first and Villarreal, and now he takes off and runs. And he's going to go ahead and motor on into second.
I think he called that a strike. I think it's 1-2.
That's right. It's 1-2. Runner down at second, so that kind of takes the greater possibility of a double play ball off the table. Bouncing ball hit to Walker. That throw high. That pulls him off the bag.
And 2-run score.
So 1 run will come home and another. And Crater takes a 2-0 lead.
I was going to score 1 run for sure. But with the wild throw, the second run able to score. And the Comets on the board with 2 here in the third.
So a timeout called. We'll have a little discussion on the hill here. Yeah, that was going to be just like you say. It's a situation where you figured with any kind of contact that 1 run would come in, especially if it's hit to the right of the infield. And then with the overthrow, and the runner starting out at second,
yep,
he ends up coming around.
Yeah, and that's a situation where Bryson Walker kind of rushed that throw. You know, it was he had to move a little bit. Runner was hustling down the line, and he just rushed the throw and threw it over Andy's head. And Andy's, 6'5", so
yeah,
it's a good big target over there. You just got to hit him somewhere in the chest. If that wasn't an overthrow, the Challengers end up with an out and probably a runner on third here instead of the 2 runs scoring.
So a 2-0 game. Runner in scoring position. Morgan Austin down at second base. The ball hit up in the air.
Michael Covey.
Covey reels it in.
Nice throw, too, by Covey.
And we've got 2 gone. So that will leave Austin staying put at second base.
And brings up Harrington.
Harrington, the junior first baseman, right-handed hitter, getting ready to stand in against Blake Patro. Patro comes to the plate. That one gets away from the catcher, Maben. And down to third is Austin. Patro and Maben, the battery, having a little discussion there.
Well, that usually happens when maybe a fastball was called and a curveball was thrown or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's, because it looked like that they weren't on the same page. That pitch was not what Maben expected, I don't think.
So a little discussion on the importance of signals.
Yes, and the right ones.
1-0 the count. Harrington gets good contact on that. That'll fall in for a base hit. Austin will come home, and it's a 3-0 ball game.
Probably scores on that from second anyway, so I don't think that wild pitch really mattered that much.
No.
Because that was hit toward the gap, and you're not going to throw him out at the plate in that situation. But a nice clean single, the third one here in the third inning by Harrington to score run number 3 for the Comets.
So RBI single for Harrington. And here is Carson Nosey, center fielder. There's a strike from Patro. Got a 1-1 count. Runner on first with 2 gone. And the Comets with 3 in this inning. Pitch off target for a ball. Comets coming in today with an overall record of 19-7. And there, a base hit underneath the outstretched glove of Sickler. And then there is Harrington. Harrington's going to come around third, and he'll score a run to make it a 4-0 ball game. So a nice piece of hitting there for Nosey, center fielder, with the RBI double. Comets doing a nice job of finding the gaps here in the inning.
2 down in the inning, though, and the Challengers need to get out of this without any more damage. 4 runs already in this inning, and the Comets have got four hits in the inning as well.
Caleb Cornett will stand in. Runner in scoring position. Patro starts him out with a strike. Pitch fouled away. It goes 0-2. So advantage Patro here with the 0-2 count. Comets, winners 19-2 against Springfield. Bouncing ball to short. Sickler, his throw in time, and that'll retire the side. But the Comets pick up 4 and thus take the 4-0 lead. We'll be back for the bottom of the third right after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford has a large selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. We make it easy to drive home in the new vehicle of your dreams. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
When you work with Hart Insurance Agency, you'll experience the quality service and attention to detail that you'll only find with an independent insurance agency. Hart Insurance Agency was founded in 1947 and is one of the largest independent, locally owned agencies in Southern Oregon, with offices in Grants Pass and Medford. Their experienced team of agents have the knowledge to design, place, and to manage your personal and business insurance plans. Find out more. Visit hartinsurance.com.
Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford has a large selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. We make it easy to drive home in the new vehicle of your dreams. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Super.
We go to the bottom of the third. Now the Challengers find themselves with a hill to climb, and now for Johnson, a little bit of wind in his sails as his offense has given him some nice support, a little bit of separation as we make our way into the third.
Yeah, nice job of the Comets. Just, 4 hits in the inning and taking advantage of a couple of Challenger errors to get themselves 4 runs on the board along with those 4 hits. So now it's up to the Challengers to respond here.
Number 8 hitter in the order, Cascade, the right fielder, left-handed hitter, looks at a ball. This has been a good season for the junior. Pitch low. He's ahead 2-0.
Scaglione on the season hitting .290. So done a good job hitting the ball this year as well.
And a successful football season as a member of the Challenger State Championship football team. Of course, we'll have plenty to talk about coming up in the fall, Mark, as the Challengers find themselves moving to the 4A ranks.
That's going to be a very interesting transition this next year, I think.
And here, Johnson working from behind, runs the count full at 3-2 as he pours it in for the strike.
Looks like a couple of pitches on the outside corner.
And there, Scaglione leans away from it, and he gets aboard with a walk.
Earns himself a trip to first base with a walk.
So he'll head down to first, and here's the center fielder, the number 9 man in the order, Nash Crisp. This a young Challengers team. Crisp, the only senior on the team.
Yep.
A lot of sophomores on the squad, and a sprinkling of juniors. There, Crisp shows bunt. And there's a strike as Johnson gets ahead. And like I said, I hadn't really seen a lot of Johnson pitching over the years, but he's been impressive here today.
Yeah, he's done a good job of throwing the strikes and not putting guys on base.
Crisp. Strike, says the man behind the plate. So it's an 0-2 count. Nobody gone. And Scaglione with a guy that can move around and run. Although I would imagine the 4-0 deficit kind of maybe takes a little bit less out of your
running game.
Desire to run.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, maybe Bryson Walker gets a green light, but I'm thinking, yeah, short of him. And there's a strike from Johnson. There's one gone. So back to the top of the Challenger order. Here's the second baseman, Bryson Walker. Walker, an on-base machine.
Well, he's got a pretty small strike zone, if you know what I mean.
Yes, kind of the Ricky Henderson effect.
And he tries to lay down a bunt, but it turns into a foul-balled strike.
So that'll put Johnson ahead at 0-1. Scaglione, the runner at first. He's got his oven mitt on, but like I said, I think that's probably more for show than anything else in this situation. And Scaglione will take off the throw down to second base. And he's safe. He gets in under the throw. Well, so much for the notion that the challengers won't run. But I suppose Scaglione probably high on that list of guys that's like, if we're going to run, he'll be one of the guys to do it.
Walker, him, Sickler. There's a few guys that have some speed on this team for sure.
So, challengers with a runner in scoring position. Walker
swings at one in his eyes.
1-2 the count. That pitch comes in down low. And that'll even things up at 2-2. Ball hit in the air to center field. The catch is made. Nosey there to make the play, and there's two gone.
Good contact that time. Drove the ball out there just a little bit underneath it to allow it to be caught. And second out of the inning now. Challengers could use a Sickler single here. Score maybe a run, at least get something started here in the inning.
Sickler had a hit in his first at-bat. He'll foul that one away, 1-1. I tell you what, there was a real scare involving him earlier in the season. At one point, they thought that possibly he might have a torn labrum. That would have cost him not only this, but he's planning to play football for his senior year. And thankfully, though, it turned out not to be that. And
he gets hit by the pitch.
Takes one for the team, and now we got runners at first and second with two gone. And here's Blake Patro. If you talk about a guy who can change the complexion of a game with one swing of the bat, it's this guy.
Well, you got your right part of your lineup up here in.
Well, with an OPS of 1.439.
Yeah, hitting 460 on the year.
Yeah.
Best of the Challenger hitters.
And he ends up hitting it foul our way. Count 0-1. Sends one over to the trailer park. So two gone. You got Scaglione at second. Sickler at first. A couple of guys have got some giddy-up go in their step. Now a bouncing ball.
Base hit.
And it gets through for a base hit. One run will come home, and the shutout for Johnson is gone.
Yeah, nice job by Patteru. That's a breaking ball, and he hits it in the 5-6 hole for a base hit. He got a breaking ball from Johnson and just able to stay back enough to get it through that 5-6 hole. And a nice run there for the Challengers.
And, of course, you get the courtesy runner for the pitcher anyway, but I would say definitely it's an advantageous swap to take Gig as a runner as opposed to Patro. The big fellow will go to the Challenger bench with a nice piece of hitting, and here's Alvarez.
Good swing on that first pitch, just fouls it straight back.
Andy Alvarez, his dad, Tim Alvarez, a Cascade Christian Sports Hall of Famer. Played some professional ball in the Giants chain.
Andy, a good basketball player as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, this guy, he's a fun guy to watch on the hill. Those long arms, he can just whip it up to the plate. Here, he'll get good contact on it. It's going to be hit to center field, but there's no C to make the play, and that'll retire the side. So the Challengers pick up a run. They leave a couple runners on. We'll go to the top of the fourth. Crater with a 4-1 lead, and we'll be back with that for you right after these messages.
1, 2, 3, right now at Abby's. Abby's BLT celebration is on. 1, grab a large for under $20. 2, go giant and get 50% more pizza. 3, sauce it up with our new signature sauces. Now that's legendary. Our BLT pizza is loaded with 2 kinds of bacon, fresh lettuce, juicy tomatoes, and real cheese, all on our hand-rolled dough. Celebrate birthdays, graduations, and sports parties for less with our BLT. It's as easy as ABC. Order now at abbys.com.
Luxurious Cascade flooring. The flooring you need to live beautifully. With the National Cascade Month Style Meets Savings event, get the lowest prices of the year on all luxurious Cascade flooring and save up to $1,000 or more. Plus, ask about special no-interest financing. Elevate your home during National Cascade Month Savings with Style, exclusively at both Lippert's Carpet One locations, Medford and Grants Pass.
Readjusting to playing second now.
Here we go to the top of the fourth.
Always a challenge when you have a guy out that's, your shortstop and you have to move your second baseman. You move everybody around to compensate for him being out, and now everybody's moving back.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely can be an adjustment period to that. Patro has Sweet, the hitter, Andrew Sweet Jr. Here's another guy that during the course of time had the opportunity to watch play, and he's a guy who can sting a baseball. But here, Patro ahead of him, 0-2. Probably after the adventures of last inning, he would like to get a nice 1-2-3 inning.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would after last inning. And
a little off speed there. Misses for a ball, 1-2. Count even at 2-2. Well, we're talking about how hard he can throw it, and then he's got that off-speed pitch.
Well, that's what a lot of what you need when you're in a high school pitcher. Just 2 pitches. You got to be able to throw them both for strikes is the key to that operation. And
yes,
after being up 0-2, he's now down. It's now a full count.
Patro getting set with the payoff pitch. And a bouncing ball. Alvarez fields it, strolls to the bag, and there's one gone. So 1 up, 1 down for the Comets. So the inning for the Challengers starts out with a little less adventure.
Oren up, Oren Ging.
As some of you may know, I live in Central Point, and the Ging family used to be neighbors.
Well, there you go.
Back in the day, and Oren with a twin sister, Elena, sophomore.
Oh, nice swing, but right at somebody.
High in the air, and one thing you can say about that Challenger outfield is it's solid defensively. You got 3 guys, all 3 can pick up and run pretty well, and then I would imagine Covey's got a gun for an arm.
Yeah, we saw that a little earlier when he threw to third.
So 2 out in the inning. And this will bring Villarreal to the plate. Sophomore outfielder. He saw a lot of varsity action as a freshman.
Singled back in the third as to get the inning started for Crater.
Hits it out to left field. Covey runs over, makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the fourth, and it's the Comets on top on your Donnell Scott scoreboard, 4-1. We'll take a timeout, and we'll be right back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Whether you're finding flooring inspiration online
sports are in trouble, and officials are in extreme demand.
So we're looking for people like you.
Former athletes,
parents, and community members.
what it takes is attention to detail.
A positive attitude and respect for the game.
Anyone who can manage the game and stick with it.
Because the hard truth is,
no ref, no game. Play ball.
We'll go to the bottom of the fourth inning. It'll be Tucker Maben. It'll be Wyatt Hurley, followed by Mikey Covey. Your 5, 6, and 7 hitters for the Challengers. Maben, one of those guys, going into high school, it was a bit of an open question, even though he's a baseball coach's grandson. There was an open question about whether he would play baseball or not. At one time, he indicated he wouldn't, but he has kind of come in and found his niche, and his ability to play behind the plate has freed up the likes of Sickler and Covey to move up to other positions where their athleticism pays dividends.
Yeah, I think that's. I think the Challenger's very happy with, you saw him throw out one of the comments already in this game. He's got a good arm from back there, does a good job receiving the ball, and his hitting has definitely improved since last year.
Well, he's gotten stronger. Not only is he was center on the football team and part of that championship team, wrestled in the winter. And here he gets a piece of it, but he'll hit it foul down the left field line. So Johnson just cruising right along in this ball game. Had a hit batter and a walk last inning, but generally speaking, I look over here, Mark, we've got a man on the hill in relief.
Yeah, we've got a new pitcher out there.
Morgan Austin coming into the ball game, so he moves in from his shortstop position. Pitch fouled back. Count now 0-2. Looks like, is that Nosey they got over there at short now? I think I see a number 1 there.
Looks like it.
So Nosey coming in from center field.
Or maybe 7. It could be 7 too.
If it is a 7, we got a Ryder Hobbs on the roster. And here.
No, I think it's 1. I think you are correct. And Maben strikes out for the first out of the inning.
So Austin strikes out the first batter he sees on in relief of Johnson, who had a great outing starting the ball game, and now he'll get ready to take on Wyatt Hurley. Pitch low for a ball. Goes 1-0. Hurley, his batting average not real high. He's almost kind of like a Max Muncy kind of player. It's like he gets doesn't get many hits, but they're loud hits, and he's a good on-base guy with an on-base percentage of near 400. Here, he looks at a strike, and we'll update our scoreboard to reflect the 2-1 count. Austin levels it up at 2-2. Two-two pitch.
Another curveball. Seen a lot more off-speed breaking balls from Morgan Austin than we saw from Johnson. Johnson primarily fastball.
Hurley. Well, that might leave a mark.
Second hit batter for the Challengers.
So Hurley will make the trip on down to first base. Exchange of pleasantries with Harrington, the first baseman.
And the Challengers have a base runner.
So opportunity here. Mikey Covey. He'll show bunt. Lays one down. The only play to first. So Covey
does his job, gets the runner to second base.
So the Challengers with a runner in scoring position. 2 gone. And here's Seth Scaglione. Challengers operating with a 3-run deficit to the Comets. Challengers coming in with a 19-4 record on the season. Here, a bouncing ball down to second. Throw down to first.
He beats it out for a base hit.
And that'll put runners at first and third. So good hustle down the line there by Seth Scaglione.
Yeah, and that was one of those slow, high turf bouncers, and second baseman actually had to back up to be able to catch the ball on the bounce. Probably should have charged it and got it earlier. It would have been a trickier play, but would have given him a chance to make a play at first if he could have done that. But Scaglione hustling down the line gets an infield single.
So Scaglione 1 for 1. He was hit by a pitcher earlier, and he had a stolen base. Crisp the hitter now. That one hit foul down the third base line, just wide of third.
Looked like Scaglione was going on that pitch. Let's see if he does it again here.
0-1 the count to the center fielder for Cascade. Excellent cross-country season for Crisp. And here, he ends up hitting a grounder to second, and they get the force, and that'll retire the side. So for the Challengers, they get a couple aboard. Not able to do much with it. And now we'll go to the top of the 5th. The Comets have the 4-1 lead. We'll be back after these messages.
The good.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford has a large selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. We make it easy to drive home in the new vehicle of your dreams. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
Whether it's game day or a family get-together, Sherm's has the quality products and prices that will make you cheer. Sherm's Thunderbird Market, Medford's original discount grocery store.
You want diverse venues? We got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford has a large selection of new vehicles from Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and of course Ram trucks. We make it easy to drive home in the new vehicle of your dreams. Only at the Lithia Chrysler Jeep Dodge of Medford Superstore.
Game's moving along pretty good.
Yeah, game moving along at a pretty good pace here. We go to the top of the 5th inning, and it has been a pleasant day for baseball out here. We've had some wind kick up, and that has a way of making things a little interesting out in the field, but it has been nice and pleasant. At Lithia Driveway, our current temperature, 76 degrees.
1-1 on Snowball.
Third baseman, top of the order for the Comets. There's a strike from Patro.
1-2.
And he continues to work for the Challengers.
Yes, he does. He's throwing a nice game. I mean, he's had that one inning where he gave up the 4 hits, but other than that, he's been doing a good job of keeping the Comets off balance.
And speaking of off balance there.
That's a strikeout.
So 1 gone in the inning. Snopel with the little mishap there in the box.
Well, he kind of swung at something that kind of came in on him, and he just ended up kind of falling down after the bat goes through the zone.
Now here's Austin. Austin started the game at shortstop, but he's come on in relief of Johnson. And the first base umpire on the appeal rules he did go around. And the count is 1-1. Patro, the pitch. There's a strike.
1-2.
So 1-2 count to the Comet pitcher. Patro winds, fires, and that one hit wide of third.
Foul ball.
So Austin will stay alive at 1-2. Jay Campbell, head man for the Comets, and he's been around for what seems like ever.
Yeah, it does.
And, of course, quite a storied and successful career. And then here, laying out for the play is Sickler. But, you know, that's a play where he just did a good job to get to it.
Yeah, and he was smart not to throw it because you're not going to throw him out anyway. And at least, you don't waste a throw that could get away from you, especially on a play like that. But, yeah, it does a nice job of keeping the ball in the infield.
Well, I'll tell you a thing about Sickler. He's one of those guys. He's definitely a high baseball IQ kind of player. You definitely tell all those years of playing in this program and then for the Mustangs.
Well, and it's one of those things where, that most shortstops on most high school baseball teams are high IQ guys because they kind of keep everyone in check on the field, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Just that's the position that you put your best guy, both from a athletic standpoint and also from a knowledge and brain standpoint. And we got a balk. Patero did not come to a stop. One of the things that you have to do as a pitcher when you have runners on base is you have to come to a stop for a full second, and that didn't happen. I'm sure that's what that was called. He kind of rolled right through his stop, and it's a balk. And
Schaefer, I'm going to have a word. Just, I don't think they're discussing dinner plans or anything like that.
No, probably not.
But,
But what it does do is it puts Austin in scoring position here with just one out.
Well, and then takes in, the obvious double play possibility off the board.
And Johnson so far has walked and flied out to left in this game.
He is a big man.
He took a cut at that one right there, too.
Yep.
Just a little out in front of the off-speed pitch. Looked like a changeup from
He wanted to
Patero.
send that one to the seats.
He did.
Well, there's no seats out. He sent it to the creek.
Yeah.
Patro looks back at the runner. Comes to the plate. Bouncing ball hit wide of first. Alvarez takes a look at it and says, yep, that's baseball. And it's 0-2. Johnson gets good contact on that, and it's going to fall in front of Covey. Coming around and scoring is Austin, so some base running by the Comets gets them their 5th run of the game.
And a helpful balk also gets them down to second base as Johnson singles into left field.
And a loud single at that, I tell you, I think everything this Johnson kid does is loud. So Harrington
takes a strike for the first pitch.
Patro gets a hold ahead of him with one gone in the inning.
And he could use a double play ball right here is what he could use.
Yep, there's a reason why they call that the pitcher's best friend. It would definitely say with a couple of bigger guys like this that probably the potential was there.
Nice curveball that time for a strike. 1-2. Patero still looks like he's doing a good job out there. He's staying with his pitches, mixing them up.
Patro comes to the plate. Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 2 down.
Carson Nosey, who started the game in center field, moved to short when Austin moved to the hill.
Fifth strikeout of the game for Pateru. And we may be getting to a pitch count situation here, I'm guessing.
Might very well
we
be.
are.
Yep.
That's the one thing in high school. Remember, you only get basically 100 pitches, plus or minus a few here and there.
Well, you remember as well as I do, Mark. There used to be a day where you go out there and go until your arm fell off.
Well, yeah, and then they came up with, they used to have an innings rule instead of a pitch count rule, where you could pitch 7 innings a week, and then they've kind of now changed that to a pitch count instead of a inning rule, which I personally like the inning rule a little bit better.
Yeah,
thought it was a little easier to keep track of and a little harder to. Anyway, just a better. I thought it was a better rule, and
yeah.
I think, either way, whichever rule you're using, obviously as a pitching coach or whoever you're using to count pitches, you just have to keep track of those guys and make sure that their arms are going to be good all season long.
Yeah,
I mean I understand the reason for the rule,
absolutely,
for sure, and I just think that
Well,
as we've seen in the majors, the pitch counts they've gone to a lot less pitch counts for their starters and stuff.
Right.
But we don't seem to see any less, really any less arm injuries.
Well, you can tell me what your observation on this is. As we see, it looks like we have a substitution for the Challengers over at second as Walker moves to short. And that is Jacoby Getman.
Getman comes in at second. Pateru goes to first. Where did Alvarez end up? Did he go out? I think he's going to DH.
Yes.
Is probably, I think, remember they had him as DH/pitcher.
Yes.
So I'm sure he's going to go DH, and then we're going to have Jacoby Getman come and play second base.
And the chess pieces move around.
Yes.
So 2 gone in the inning. And a bouncing ball. Throw to second. Getman.
And you know what happens? The ball finds you, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Getman does good things there, and that'll retire the side. It's a 5-1 Comet lead. We'll be back with the top of the 6th. I should say the bottom of the 5th following these messages.
At Rogue Credit Union, we don't answer to shareholders. Instead, we return earnings back to our members. We know that we're stronger when we work together, and that's why we're invested here, living, giving, and supporting local. We're your friends and your neighbors. We know the needs of our communities. Being a part of Rogue means that our focus is on our members, and when you prosper, we prosper. See the credit union difference and how being a part of something smaller can have a bigger impact.
Bill's Glass covers the full spectrum of your glass needs and dreams. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home and auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 50 years. Locally owned, family run, Bill's Glass in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass.
We got the top of the order, Walker, Sickler, Pateru.
There you go. We're going to get set here for the bottom of the 5th inning. The Challengers trail by 4. And Austin, in his second inning of relief, getting set to go to work. Successful 4th inning for him against the Challengers.
And you can see he starts off with a curveball or a slider. Throws a lot more, like I said, a lot more off-speed pitches than we saw from Johnson.
Throws a strike there to Walker. Count goes 1-1. Bryson, as always, the team leader in steals. You've seen him on a football field. You know that this kid can fly. He finds himself behind 1 and 2. And this one popped up in the air. No see there. closes the glove on it, and there's one gone. Grady Sickler, who's taken over on the hill, started the game at shortstop. So he followed a similar trajectory to Austin.
Yeah, he's been hit by a pitch and doubled in this game, so he's 1 for 1 so far and been the Challengers' most effective hitter.
Austin opens him up with a strike, gets ahead 0-1, and that's kind of what you got to do against these good hitters. You know, it's like, I'm not going to waste any time on them. And now here's the count is 0-2. Austin comes to the plate. Pitch low.
That curveball in the dirt. See if he's going to go fishing. And Sickler lays off of it smartly, wisely.
One gone in the inning. Bases clear. Swing and a miss. Third strike dropped. Now the throw down to first.
For the second out.
So a strikeout and little help from the catcher. There's 2 gone in the inning. And here's Blake Patro. Patro, we've talked about his hitting 460 on the year with 6 home runs, 27 RBIs.
He's got a single and a fielder's choice in this game so far. Been on base twice. We mentioned leading hitter on the Challengers, 460 on the season.
Well, that 3 spot where typically, and of course you can see, you know, probably now more than ever, where philosophies vary about where you put guys in your batting order. Sometimes you want to get some guys as many at-bats as possible within a game, but certainly Patro in that 3 spot, usually your best hitter is going to be in that spot.
Yep. Well, your Dodgers, though, they kind of vary that.
They do. Doc Roberts has this way of going a little bit against the grain. Here, foul call on that. Count remains at 1-2.
Hit it off his foot.
Ow. With Patro looking no worse for wear. The pitcher and first baseman, and he's moved over to first with Sickler coming on in relief of him. That pitch down low as the count goes 2-2. Two out, bases clear. Comets with a 5-1 game. And here the ball hit the short. Throw over to first is in time, and that'll retire the side. Another great inning of pitching by Austin, and that'll take us now to the top of the 6th. 5-1 ball game. We'll be back on the other side of this break.
At Rogue Credit Union, we don't answer to shareholders. Instead, we return earnings back to our members. We know that we're stronger when we work together, and that's why we're invested here, living, giving, and supporting local. We're your friends and your neighbors. We know the needs of our communities. Being a part of Rogue means that our focus is on our members, and when you prosper, we prosper. See the credit union difference and how being a part of something smaller can have a bigger impact.
Bill's Glass covers the full spectrum of your glass needs and dreams. Having new windows installed by Bill's Glass dramatically update and improves the look of your home and helps reduce energy bills year-round. Let Bill's Glass show you what you've been missing. Bill's Glass, the largest glass company in Southern Oregon for your home and auto, as well as the trusted industry leader for over 50 years. Locally owned, family run, Bill's Glass in Ashland, Medford, and Grants Pass.
On the Mustangs last year?
Yeah, So for the Comets, it'll be Cornett, it'll be Sweet, and it'll be Ging. The first 3 hitters in this inning to try to do battle with Grady Sickler coming on in his second inning of relief of Blake Patro. Had about 2 weeks where he wasn't able to do anything, and then they kind of slowly brought him back here. Solid contact out to right field, and that's going to bounce over the wall for a ground rule double.
Yeah, that ball was smacked. A little off-speed pitch it looked like from Sickler, maybe a hanging breaking ball, and he did not miss it.
So Caleb Cornett there leading off the inning with an extra base hit. And now Sweet the hitter, and there's another guy that can make strong contact. I'm going to be very interested to see how the run goes for the Comets this year. You know, for a while it was almost automatic that Thurston would end up being in the championship game, but it's been a different year this year. North Eugene leading the way in the Midwestern League, followed by Crater. I think what really kind of put a dent in Crater's season is Eagle Point had a moment sweeping the series against the Comets.
Yep.
And I think those guys still kind of...
They're definitely rivals, in that league for sure. And they were close games, all three of them I saw.
Sweet gets a piece of it.
After faking a bunt on the first one, he swings away there with Patero about, clear up on the pitcher's mound.
Give him a little think about it, a little bit of gamesmanship there.
There you go.
Sickler steps off the bump. He comes to the plate.
Great bunt.
Hurley motors it across the infield. So the sacrifice successful.
Beautiful bunt to move the runner to third with only one out.
Well, I would say that is one of the hallmarks of, and of course, if you got a guy that's been around as long as Campbell has, or like, you've had the privilege of working with Coach Morris in basketball, a guy's around for a while, and one of the things you pick up, they're in that position because their teams are extremely well coached.
Well, and they do the fundamentals right. I mean, that was a perfect bunt. You want to bunt that ball to the third baseman because the first baseman is charging hard, as we saw Patero do, and that's just a well-executed bunt, and you got to be able to do those if you're going to be a winning program, and that was beautifully done. Move that runner to third, and now you just need something out of the infield. As you can see, the infielders in now for the Challengers, and anything out of the infield is going to score a run here for the Comets.
Ging the hitter ahead of Sickler, 2-1. That one upstairs.
Now it's 3-1, and if you're Sickler, you can't get another guy on base here. You got to make him hit his way on.
3-1 pitch. Grounder to second.
Good job by Getman of looking the runner back, and
there's two down. Now, well, I'll tell you what. It's not hard to spot where the coach's kids are.
Well, and just a nice job that time of taking a look at the guy at third, then throwing to first, making sure he wasn't going, and gets the second out of the inning. Now the infield can move back, as you see them doing here. And a nice curveball for a strike from Sickler to Villarreal, the 9-hitter for the Comets.
And that number 9 hitter has been a productive one for Coach Campbell today, and here a strike.
He certainly has. He's got a sac fly, and he has a single and a run scored here in this one.
Well, you got to love when you have that kind of depth in your lineup that you go all the way down and you've got a productive number 9 hitter.
Yep. That's something the Challengers have struggled with at the bottom of their lineup this year. It's getting production from there.
Pitch down low.
2-2.
So with the Comets, you have one of the top teams in the Oregon 5A at 19-7, and there the Challengers coming in as one of the top teams, and Got off to a really hot start, but for the Challengers, I think just a little bit of sputtering, just as far as but they've been against quality opponents.
Well, I think some of the sputtering too didn't help that Sickler was out.
That was huge
during some of those games that they needed him to pitch, if you know what I mean.
There,
base hit,
man aboard,
and another RBI for Villarreal. He drives one in the gap between second and first.
So it's a 6-1 ball game. 2 gone in the inning. And now we go to the top of the lineup with Mason Snopel. Snopel, one of 4 seniors on this Crater squad. So there is a little bit of a veteran presence on this team. Here, the runner is caught off. Now in a pickle, and Patro chases him down, and that'll retire the side, but not before the Comets put one more on the board, and their lead is 5. It's a 6-1 ball game. We'll be back in 60 seconds.
Diverse venues, we got them. Year-round sports access? You bet. Race cars, soccer, paragliding? Check, check, check. Medford has it covered as your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
Okay, you know how people complain about how Dutch Bros workers are like too nice, too hyper, compliment you too much, whatever? Maybe you're not nice enough. Maybe you need to get a little Dutch Bros in you.
Discover the West Coast destination for those seeking more. More sunny days, more athletic facilities, more outdoor adventures, more to do during downtime. Medford is your sport ground, where the West Coast plays.
It's older than Brandon. What's his name?
Jeff?
Jeff. Hey, good to see you. All right. Take it easy.
So we're making our way to the home half of the 6th inning. Austin, I believe this is his 3rd inning of relief.
Yep.
And, well, you mentioned, Mark, that he's definitely offered a contrast to Johnson as Alvarez hits the ground ball. Throw pulls him off the bag.
But he tags him.
Tags him. So good heads-up play by Harrington, and there's one gone.
Yeah, a little bit of a wild throw, but a nice tag by the first baseman. And if you're Alvarez, you might be trying to do a little more to not, to get out of the way of that tag.
Yeah.
If you can determine it's coming. I'm not sure maybe he didn't see that.
May be possible. Now here's Tucker Maben. Maben looks at a pitch low as the count goes 1-0. So 1 out in the inning. The base is clear. Challengers have been unable to solve Comet pitching.
Now they just have 3 hits in this game so far, as do the Challengers.
So a 2-0 count here to the Challenger catcher. Just gets a piece of it. Fouled back. And we've got a 2-1 count. Pitch down low. Maben practicing patience at the plate. We've got a hitter's count at 3-1.
And he walked him.
So Maben gets aboard. And Maben, another one of those guys that does a good job of being patient at the plate and drawing his share of walks.
So Wyatt Hurley now the batter for the Challengers.
And the big whomp can put a big whomp on the ball.
Well, he got hit by a pitch his last time up, grounded out to the shortstop back in the 2nd. Let's see if he can move Tucker Maben along here. Good cut on the first pitch.
As the count goes 0-1. So man aboard with 1 down. A little conversation there between Zach Harrington, the first baseman, and Tucker Maven. Throw back to first. Maven back in plenty of time. There, a bouncing ball to second. They get the lead runner. Throw over to first. The pitcher's best friend, the double play. And that'll retire the side. For the Challengers, it remains a 6-1 deficit to the Crater Comets. We'll be back with the top of the 7th right after these messages.
It's game time. And there's only one thing that makes it all possible. Refs.
We're looking for people like you. Former athletes.
Parents.
Community members.
Anyone who can manage the game and stick with it.
But we need more heroes in stripes. People like you.
Join the team and keep sports alive.
Play ball.
Because no ref, no game.
Choose a company that best represents you and our local community.
Choose a company that focuses on relationships rather than transactions.
Choose a company that empowers their employees and provides growth opportunities from within.
Choose a company that shows compassion and rises to the occasion in times of need.
Call a John L. Scott broker today.
Yeah, just 3 hits. I was just double checking.
6-1 ball game. Crater on top, and they've got one more opportunity to get a little bit further separation in this ball game.
Top of the order for the Comets. Snowpole, Austin, and Johnson.
And they'll go up against Grady Sickler, who's come on in relief of Blake Patro. So Mason Snowpole standing in, the third baseman. Right-handed hitter working against the right-handed pitcher. And Sickler starts him out with a strike. Speaking of right-handed, know this from being his history teacher, Sickler is actually left-handed.
Interesting.
But, like a lot of lefties I know, just about everything else he does is right-handed.
Yeah, I mean, I write with my left hand, but I'm a right-handed baseball player, so it's not that unusual. Actually.
No, it's not.
Good curveball fooled him.
And there, Hurley has trouble with it.
It's going to be an E5 right there.
So the leadoff man aboard.
Yeah, that ball had a lot of spin, a lot of top spin on it, and also the sun. And, you know, it's another thing you got to realize at this time of night, he's coming right to the sun is Hurley, and not able to corral that one.
So Brady Gruther is going to come on as the runner, sophomore. A lot of sophomores on this Crater roster, so got a lot of up-and-comers, as do the Challengers. So Gruther in to run, and then here is Austin, the shortstop turned pitcher. Sickler puts that one right down Broadway, and he gets ahead 0-1. Sickler, throw over to first.
Ooh, close.
Had a nice move there by Sickler.
And a good tag by Blake as well.
0-1 the count. Nobody gone, and a runner at first. And now a backdoor throw to first. That one high from Maven. But let him know, yeah, we're thinking about you.
Exactly.
Of course, Gruther, it looks like with that cast on his arm, running's about all he can do right now.
Well, I think that's what he's in there for, would be my guess.
Yes. Pitch upstairs from Sickler.
2 balls and a strike.
Well, Austin.
Challengers can't afford to give up any more runs here. Already down by 5.
They're already in a tough spot, and now Grether's going to go. Bouncing ball hit to first. Now throw over to second, not in time. So Grether motors into second. It has not a sacrifice, but it has the effective one as the runner moves up.
Yep, first out of the inning, though, for the Challengers. And Johnson now the hitter.
Not exactly the guy you want to see with a runner in scoring position if you're the Challengers.
No, he's walked, flown out to left, and singled in this game. And his single was also to left field, if you remember correctly.
Right.
And so it's interesting to me that we've got Sickler holding the runner on here. I mean, excuse me, the shortstop holding the runner on, which is Walker.
Bouncing ball hit to Gatman. Gatman
misplays it.
Well, he's now a run comes home, and Crater is up 7-1. Well, I was going to say, Getman as a quarterback has definitely experienced it where he had the receiver who hadn't quite looked it in, was thinking about taking off and running before making the catch, and here you can tell he's thinking about making that throw.
Throw to first before he catches the ball, and the ball just goes right under his glove. So that's an E4, and Comets score a run, and Johnson ends up motoring over to second base. Right fielder a little slow in getting to the baseball after Getman missed it.
So Sickler will now go to work, and a bouncing ball hit foul down the first base line. So it's an 0-1 count to Harrington. He has Johnson in scoring position.
1 out so far in the inning.
7-1 ball game, top of the 7th. And then Crater with the 7-1 lead. That one in the dirt, may have been able to keep it in front of him. Have a 1-1 count. Pitch up and in. 2-1 the count.
I like that pitch though by Sickler. You wanna put an up and in one so you can go back away. See if he goes back away with this one, and he does. Ooh.
Misses on the offering, and the count goes 3-1.
Wasn't sure. The batter wasn't even sure if that was going to be a ball or a strike. It had to be close. You could see everybody kind of froze, and there was no call.
Pitch fouled away.
3-2.
So we got a full count with a runner on second and one gone in the inning. Harrington, the big first baseman, standing in, awaits the payoff pitch, and he gets him for the strikeout. Carson Nosey, he started the game out in center field and has moved to shortstop as the pieces of the puzzle have moved around for the Comets. Victory here for Crater would give him 20 on the season.
Oh, looked like a pretty good pitch there.
Ball is the call, and it's a 1-0 count. Nosey.
There's a strike.
Leaving it up at 1-1. So Sickler's definitely thrown strikes today.
Yeah, he is. He's done a good job of keeping them off balance. They did get that one run in the last inning, was a double and a single, but
1-2 the count.
Run in this inning unearned with the two challenger errors.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Challengers, the defense has been shaky today.
Yeah, it's been a little bit suspect for sure. They had 2 errors in the 3rd inning when they gave up the 4 runs. And they've had 2 errors in this inning that has also led to a run.
Sickler from the stretch comes to the plate, pitch low.
Curveball in the dirt.
Count 2-2.
2-2 and 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Comets lead 7-1.
Sickler comes to the plate, and that'll be a full count at 3-2. He'll step off the rubber. Resets. Nocia waits the payoff pitch.
Walked him.
And he draws the walk. So now we've got runners at first and second and 2 gone.
Cornett at the plate.
Caleb Cornett, Jr. Been patrolling part of that middle infield for the Comets. Sickler throws the pitch. Cornett fouls it off. It's 0-1. A 1 pitch. That one smacked, and that'll find room up the middle, base hit. Cornett, and now Johnson's going to go ahead and come around, and he'll score. And then with that, Cornett will take advantage and
nice single right up the middle. Scores Johnson from second and moves Nos all the way to third.
So now we'll have Jaden Mobley coming up to hit. Senior getting an opportunity to hit here late in the ball game. Seen him out in left field today. Looks at the ball from Sickler as Mobley gets ahead. 1-0. Even up now at 1-1. Comets lead by 7 with an opportunity for more.
Yeah, 2 outs. Challengers need to get out of this.
Sickler comes to the plate. Did the hitter go?
Nope.
He did not. So we got a 2-1 count. Mobley, the right-handed hitter. And there's a strike. That'll even things up. Sickler the pitch, and a called strike 3, and that'll retire the side. For the Comets, they extend the lead. We'll go to the bottom of the 7th. Crater leads in this ball game 8-1. We'll be back after these messages on TableRockSports.net.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This has been my profession for 30 plus years now. I really love my work. We try to source as many ingredients as we can as local as possible, like local fruits and vegetables. We have a menu like you would find in any nice restaurant. We don't make it until you order it, so everything will be coming out fresh. We do have wonderful desserts here as well. Every day you have 5 or 6 options as far as a fresh dessert go. People are bringing their friends and family and wanting to show off what we have here to offer.
Come take a tour of Twin Creeks and meet our award-winning.
Bottom of the 7th, Cascade Christian, one more opportunity.
Covey, Scaglione, and Crisp, 7, 8, and 9 for the challengers.
And Crater going to their third pitcher of the day. Mason Snopel is going to move in from third base, and the right-hander will take the hill. We mentioned we got Mobley out in the outfield, so he's in relief of Austin, who came in relief of Johnson. Both of the predecessors to Snopel have had success against the challenger batting order.
Yeah. Challengers only have 3 hits in this ball game. And the last 2 innings have been no runs, no hits, nobody on base. 3 up and 3 down. So important here for the bottom of the lineup to get something started.
Covey stands in. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Covey gets a piece of that one, fouls it back to the backstop. So Snopel, working against his first hitter of the game, has the 0-2 advantage. And there's a strike, and there's one gone.
Just like that, Covey looks at a third pitch. That looked like it was on the outside corner. Nice pitch that time by Snopel, and first out of the inning for the Comets.
We have a pinch hitter in the game. And Marek Satowski will come to the plate. Snowball starts him out with a strike as the count goes 0-1.
Make it 2.
Tell you what, he's wasting no time
He
there.
is not messing around, is he?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Satowski looks that one in for a ball. Satowski, another one of those multi-sport athletes. That one ends up over to our right.
Yeah, good basketball player. Really going to, I think, excel this year for the varsity. And he strikes out.
So 2 gone in the inning, and now the Challengers down to their final out. And Brady Dorner will come in to pinch hit. Dorner hitting for Crisp. Dorner's seen some action in the outfield over the course of the spring. Getting an opportunity here. Swing and a miss, and Snopel getting right after it.
Yeah, he's not messing around.
And here a bouncing ball hit down to second. Throw over to first is in time.
And that's the ball game.
And that's your ball game. The Crater Comets run their record to 20-7 on the year as they defeat the Cascade Christian Challengers by a score of 8-1. Winning pitcher for the game is Alex Johnson, the starter. Taking the loss for the Challengers is Blake Patro. The Comets, well, they got enough of everything they needed, and the Challengers, not quite enough. I guess, Mark, we'll just go ahead and wrap up the broadcast here, but certainly if you're a Crater team, you got to be feeling good about what you took away from today's action, and you got to be thinking this has got to be helpful in terms of giving them a nice springboard as they move towards the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, you look at their lineup and tonight, and I'm not the official scorekeeper, obviously, but they had 9 hits, 8 runs on 9 hits, and some help from the challengers. Challengers committed several errors in this one, but everyone in the of the 9 batters in the lineup for Crater, 7 of them had hits. So that's you talked about, and the number 9 hitter, Villarreal, he had 2 hits in this one and scored a run and drove in several of the runs that the Comets scored. So Crater hit the ball and the Challengers really didn't, and that was the difference in the game. I mean, Challenger pitching, Patereau had that one bad inning in the third where he gave up those 4 runs, but that was helped along by a couple of errors by the Challengers as well, and so that was interesting to see.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, and of course for Cascade, after the victory yesterday against Umpqua Valley Christian, one of the top small school teams, kind of a maybe a reality check and kind of brings you back to earth. And sometimes I think you should wrap up a regular season, maybe, playing a quality team like the Comets, getting humbled like this may not necessarily be a bad thing for you.
No, and the Challengers, the thing about it is they only got 3 hits. We talked about that throughout the game. Patereau, Sickler, and I'm trying to find the other one. I believe it was Scaglione. Each had a hit, and that was the only 3 hits in the ball game for the Challengers. And you're just not going to score a lot of runs when you only have 3 hits in a game. And all 3, except Stickler had a double, but the other 2 hits just singles. So the Challengers just didn't hit the ball as the Comets did tonight.
Right. Well, this will go ahead and wrap up our broadcast for today, and we thank you for joining us. Our executive producer for Table Rock Sports is Joe Brett. For my cameraman, Dan Hartwell, and for Mark McLemore, I'm Jim McCoy. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night, and thank you for watching TableRockSports.net.